Here we're going to share our very long day to drive to Reno. So stay tuned. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Here we are, just about a quarter till 7, pulling up so that we can hook up the trailer and load the Jeep and side by side and make sure everything's good before we head out. But this was anything but a typical day. It should have been about a 5.5 hour drive. Things did not go as planned. If you watched our video on our tire blowout, you can guess where this is going. But here we are. We've got everything loaded. Took us about 15-20 minutes, and we're going to head out. And Vic loves them putting all the rocks and obstacles in the way because it makes driving around them and to get out, a little more challenging, putting rocks in the middle of the road. But we kind of wind our way out so that we can say goodbye to Lone Pine. This is a Boulder Creek RV park we're leaving. Here, Vic stopped to pick me up and to do a final check, and we made sure we left enough room that another camper could squeeze by, which he did before we left. So, finally, made sure everything was good, and we're on the road. I'm just going to put in a few clips of some of the towns we go through. First is one last look at Lone Pine. There was the film museum as we head out of town. This was the town of Bishop. I really wish we'd have had time to go up there and explore around Bishop. It looks like a very cool town, and so we'll have to plan another trip where we can explore the Bishop area a little bit because it looks really cool. And that's the thing about traveling. We didn't know anything about Bishop, or I would have scheduled a stop there, tried to find an RV park there. But when you're out in an area, then you know what all you need to see the next time. So that's kind of how we look at it. Is it just gives us a reason to come back. So looks like a cool town. We will definitely look forward to exploring that area.
I'm gonna tell you that I love you 100 times a day. You'll get tired of my voice. That's how much I'm gonna tell you that I'll miss you.
The drive from there up 395 all the way to Reno is absolutely gorgeous. Views of the mountains through small little towns. You go by lakes and rivers, and just absolutely a beautiful drive. I had seen some on YouTube about it, and definitely you could spend a lot of time hitting different areas and spending time there. So would have loved to have had more time to spend there, but not the way we wound up spending more time on 395. We could have done without that. But here we go through a few towns and some of the views before we get to the real fun of the day.
Yes, I'm gonna let you know just how much I tell your mama, I tell your papa too. I'm gonna let everyone know about my love, so I really hope you love me too. Yeah, I really hope you love me too. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you that I need you.
I will say it was going great right up until in here. It had been a beautiful drive, and we were really enjoying it, just chit chatting and enjoying the whole drive up until. Gabby, I got these just for you to get you started. Ooh, tire. I was definitely tired, wasn't it? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's on the camper. Inside. It was the inside rear of the tandem axles, and I am very grateful. Things could have been much worse. We were fortunate where it happened that there was an area we could pull off, and we learned some lessons by this. I'm running a clock so you can see how many hours we sit here um, while we waited. The biggest thing that took the longest amount of time was finding a tire. We did not have a spare because typically on these big rigs, there's no place to carry them because they're big, heavy tires. We're now carrying a spare tire on the trailer, but that took the longest time. It it took a long time for them to get there, for them to change it. The actual changing it wasn't probably 15 minutes, but the getting there and finding the tire, and yeah, in fact, at one point they even told us that it might be the next day, and that just on the side of the road. And now, if you didn't watch the video, when the tire blew, it took out the brace for the side piece of metal that holds the aluminum, and which shoved that into our radiator, or the radiator of the generator. So we're sitting on the side of the road with no generator. So we are, well, 5.5 hours on the side of the road and can't run anything. We got no power. So not our best time is all I'm saying. Fortunately, it was a nice view, good place to pull off, and we did eventually get someone to come there and save us and change the tire, bring a tire and change it. So the lessons learned, we're now carrying a spare. We had all the tools, and Vic probably could have changed it. Um, but not something, if we could get someone to help, we would. But at least if we had the spare tire, it would have saved us probably about 3 hours. So we learned from that, and now here we sit watching all the cars zoom by for 5 hours before we headed on.
Deep inside, yeah, that really makes me wanna speak my mind, yeah.
The guy was super nice and very helpful, and did make quick work of it once we got in position. And it was a beautiful drive on. It was coming up storms, so we were fortunate to get out before the heavy rain started. And in a little bit, you'll see that we got to see a rainbow, actually double rainbows, which was a nice touch for what had turned into be a very long day. So here we're going through the rest of the little towns, and I'll show you as I drive through Reno. If you haven't ever been through Reno, driving through Reno is by far easier than driving around Vegas. So I thought I would leave that in, but here we are. We still had to get fuel because there wasn't any place in California. Okay, prices in California are high, but also there wasn't a good place to stop for a semi truck that has the fuel on both sides. So just before we got into Reno, there was a Maverick. Of course, we managed to take the wrong turn and go in the wrong way. Had to drive over a curb or two, but we made it and got fuel before we went on to end this very, very long day. I will say we were very glad when we finally did get to the casino. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the casino and its parking lot when we get closer to it, after we get fuel. Here's our wrong turn into the Maverick. Was not my best navigating moment. It was a little tight. It was the wrong entrance. They had to drive over the curb on the roundabout because there just wasn't an option. But we made it. We got in, we got fuel, and we went on. Of course, didn't have any high curbs on it. It was low, so we could do that. So here we filled up, and we're heading on to Grand Sierra Resort Casino. Now, the reason we stayed here is the only other one I've seen in the area that people talk about is the marina that's just outside of Reno. But there's several reasons. One, it's 65 foot. We don't fit. But the big thing that made me not even try is I talked to them and they said 2 dogs only. They do not allow any extras. So, that's their park, their rules. So I just said thank you and moved on because, not much I can do about that. Grand Sierra Resort, I wouldn't say it's a nice RV park. It is a parking lot, but it is there's the rainbows, and you'll see that there's a double rainbow. It is a nice RV. It's nice for its full hookups. I think it says 65 or 70 feet long. If you pull in at an angle and you kind of angle everything, then our nose sticks out just a hair and our tail sticks out just a hair. And it was close enough that it wasn't a problem. And we had stayed there last year, so we knew that. This is it is a secured area. I wouldn't say it's necessarily nice, but the casino itself has tons of stuff, and I'm going to do a walkthrough around the game room and all that so you can see it, because the swimming pool, they have golf, they have all kinds of fun things there, plus the casino. Central area, we were able to get some things done we needed done, so we really enjoyed staying there. We did take a drive to Virginia City. We had wanted to go back and do a walkthrough and explore some of the Virginia City, but unfortunately, one of the puppies wasn't feeling good for a few days, and I couldn't really leave her in the camper, and I wouldn't take her out with her sick. So we had to wait for her to start feeling better. I'm not sure she picked up something there. Who knows? Maybe the trauma of the blown tire scared her. But she's fine now. But so we kind of were stuck around there for part of the time. But we did explore a little bit of Virginia City. So here we are pulling up. Grand Sierra Resort is straight ahead. It's the big building up there. And I'll let you go through the drive through of our very long day, because at this point we were really tired and really wanting to get there. It was about 6:45. So we had been on the road for 12 hours. Not fun. So here we are pulling in. So if you are going to go there, you at least know what to expect.
100 times a day. You'll get tired of my lips. That's how much they want to kiss you.
A couple things I will say is that there are speed bumps as you're driving through the parking lot. Be forewarned, they're pretty substantial. And other than that, it was pretty easy to get in. They're pull through sites. They do have some back ends, but we always pick a pull through site and haven't had any problems there. As far as just a place to stay, as long as you're not looking for a lot of ambiance in the campground, it's a decent place to stay. Um, I will say it was like 7 p.m. at this point. So this is the end for a very, very long day. So we were very grateful to end this day and to get into our site. There's the speed bumps. To get into our site and have some downtime because we were exhausted. While we were here, we did go to a Les Schwab's and buy a spare tire to carry with us. So was one of our things we decided to do after our experience. So I hope you enjoyed our long travel day. If you did, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you for watching. And as always, this is A Way to
I
Travel.
really hope you love me too. Yeah, yeah.